Hi, I'm Wistric, often of Meridias. If you've watched this, you've probably watched the other videos about melee and isolation that I've done. Um, Lately, I've been thinking about training melee, like actually drills for melee that you can do in isolation. And as some areas start to thaw and you start to have small gatherings, like 2 people, maybe 3 people, um, drills you can do with very few people. Um, So here we are, melee on lockdown. Uh, how to drill melee on lockdown. Um, First of all, thoughts on drilling. Um, Minimize variables. What this means is that unless you are working on like training how to fight with case longswords in a melee, you don't fight case longswords in the melee because or in the melee drill, because what you want the result of the drill to be is to reward successful execution of the thing you are practicing. And if you're practicing communication and some dude over there has case longswords and is just, I'm a god of death, because he has case longswords, you're not rewarding, you're not having success because of communication. So for the most part, if I am controlling everything in a melee drill and we're working on a particular skill, everybody brings single 42, nothing in the offhand, or 36 if people have it, but most people don't have 36s these days, so 42. Because if you're working on communication, take away the variable that has nothing to do with communication. If you're working on maneuvering together, take away the variables that have nothing to do with maneuvering together. Drill the thing you want to improve. Don't drill the rest of the stuff. You don't want false positives. You don't want to reward, to think that you succeeded when you fucked up. Don't reward bad behavior. Just drill the thing you're working on. Nothing else. So that's that part, and in melees especially, it's very tempting to break the drill. You've got enough people out there, you're trying to, the whole goal is win the drill, win! Or you're simulating that situation where the goal is win, and people like to break the drill. But again, if you break the drill, you're not learning. You're not working on the thing that you're trying to work on, and you're wasting everybody's time. So don't try to break the drill. Don't try to game the drill. You succeed by doing the thing that is supposed to lead to success. If you find an exploit, if you think you found an exploit, ask yourself, is this an exploit just because of the artificial conditions of the drill? If so, you're just wasting everybody's time and you're not really all that clever. If it's an exploit that would work in a battlefield situation, you have not learned it. You've not discovered an exploit. You've discovered a tactic. And then that's a thing everybody in your group, your unit, your practice should know about and be able to do because it's useful. I mean, if it'll work in a battlefield and will increase your chances of success, train it. But if the drill isn't about training that thing, then don't do that again. Okay. For the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about solo practice. You're like me. You don't have anybody else to play with. So what do you do to train to get better at melee when it's just you? Really, what you can work on right now is the physical attributes that will make you a better fighter. Agility, cardio, and endurance. Melee is run. Fight. Die. Go back to res point. Quickly. Add a run. Run back from res point. Fight. Run back. If in the woods battle, which is the best battle ever, there's a lot of rough ground, there's a lot of terrain. If you're skirmishing, in those situations, you need to be able to move your feet. You need to be sprightly. You need to be able to change direction quickly. If you're skirmishing, you've got, here we go. You got 2 people here, and and this guy thinks you're engaged here, and this guy doesn't think you're engaged, and he's trying to sneak by. You lunge out, you kill that guy when he doesn't think you can, or he doesn't think you're there. You've just made it a one-on-one, and you're not skirmishing now, you're murdering. So foot agility is useful. I'll put a link in the comments to a drill that a video that I did not all that long ago about how to drill foot agility in the comfort of your own home, because I've been making a lot of videos while on lockdown. So agility, train your footwork, train your foot speed, foot agility. Cardio, run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. The way to train that is to do that. Short bursts of exertion, pause, slow, low-level exertion for rest, more short bursts. Couch to 5K, if you've ever done that, or started it and not finished it like I did. I did not finish. It starts off, you run for 30 seconds. Everybody, this is Grendel. You run for 30 seconds, walk for 1 minute and 30 seconds, run for 30 seconds, walk for 1 minute and 30 seconds, run for 30 seconds, walk for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The next day you run for 1 minute, walk for 1 minute and 30 seconds, something like that. You run, and then you run, and then you... That's a good model for building up your ability to do this sort of burst exertion. Running is rough on knees and shins and ankles. I don't really like doing it. I bike. And you can do the same sort of, burst exertion. Interval training. Interval training. I've been trying to remember that word. You can do interval training on a bike. You can do interval training on an elliptical machine. That probably has interval training built into it. Interval training on a treadmill, interval training on a rowing machine. Anything that you have access to, even if it's just nothing. Doing push-ups, doing jump rope. You can do interval training. And that'll help with run, 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 run. And then when you get to here, when you get to the fight, not being stupid. In a previous video, I said that fighters are dumb. And it's not because we take too many hits to the head. It's because we are oxygen deprived and overstimulated. And this interval training will help you not be oxygen deprived when you come back to this engagement here. Instead of run, 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 get hit in the face, go back to res, probably walking this time. You'll be run, 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 run. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, I see this guy. I see what he's doing. I'm going to beat him. Boom. And now I don't have to run. He has to. And that is the best thing in the world, when you have killed them and you get to stand there and say, do I want to catch my breath, or do I want to go kill more people? Do I want to wait for them to come back and then kill them again? Because that's fun. It's mean, but it's fun to just wait there and kill the same person. I'm not a great human being. Yeah. And then the other thing to work on, so foot agility, foot speed, cardio, interval training, and then endurance. Woods battle is an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. If you're like me, you do the heavy woods battle the same day. And then that's like 4 hours of fighting in the woods, and it's death, and it's great. And it will absolutely crush your endurance. It's probably, I'm not keeping in good shape, and so it might be a good thing that Pinsic isn't happening this year, because I would die for real on woods battle day. So work on endurance. If you're doing couch to 5K, hey, at the end of it, you can run a 5K. 5K is a lot of endurance. If you can do a 5K, that's a lot of endurance to have in your back pocket. That's a lot of running back and forth in the woods, all for 2 hours. It gets to be nothing. Benjamin Wheeler, the Master of Defense out of Atlantia, who is notoriously fast and Inexhaustible is rumored to run a 10K every day. Maybe it's just a 5K every day. And the guy has endurance, like never ending. And I'm kind of jealous, but not enough to run a 5K. But he is, because of that, one of the most effective melee fighters I have ever seen. Endurance is important. Last thing, so we've talked about physical taxation here, really. And the other part of what makes fighters stupid, remember, is they are out of breath and they're overstimulated. There's a lot going on up here. Lots of people to try to kill, lots of fighters. So the other thing you need to be able to train, the other thing that would be nice to train is overstimulation, is having mental functionality in that when you get done with that sprint back from res. So what's that? I'm still trying to figure that out, how to do that. What I think the way to do is suicides, which if you don't know what those are, you have like starting line, 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, and you sprint to the 5 yards, sprint back, sprint to the 10 yards, sprint back, sprint to the 15 yards, sprint back, sprint to the 10 yards, sprint back, sprint to the 5 yards, sprint back. You're a very good cat. And you will, and at the end of that, if you're me, you wish you'd remembered your inhaler. So at that point, after all of that, when you're completely exhausted, no oxygen, we need some way to tax your brain, or to tax to test that you're still functioning and in control. So I'm just gonna say, do that, lunge 10 times at a target. And because that requires control, that requires a modicum of thought, even if you've trained so that it's, you're still like, you have to be able to point your sword aim your sword at that target and then hand before foot. And I think that you'll see that the exhaustion causes sloppiness that a functional brain can counteract. So then we need to penalize sloppiness so that you get the negative feedback loop, not just of like, yeah, okay, I missed, but like, I don't want to miss. I want to not miss, so I'm going to train to not miss. Negative feedback makes our brains get better faster. So does positive feedback. So I'm going to say do a push-up for every time you miss. And I'm going to try this myself. And I'm going to hate myself for it. But do a push-up for every time you miss. There's your negative feedback. Then you've done that. Suicides, lunge, push-ups, and then do it again. And do it again until you collapse. But I think that will develop your ability. It'll make you faster, more agile, give you hella great cardio. Do it enough times, hella great endurance. And it will, at the very least, develop your control. You'll be safer as a fighter. But I think that's also going to develop your mental capacity to operate and to monitor and to monitor what you're doing, which means increased mental capacity, increased mental functionality, increased ability to track all of the overstimulating environment of a melee scenario. Give it a try. And the next video is probably also going to include this little asshole. And it will be about what to do when restrictions get relaxed a little bit and you and a friend can get together and fight. So until then, have a good one. And I hope you get to train, and I hope you get good.